The reckless act of Chinese warship chasing a smaller Philippine patrol boat has reignited tensions in the South China Sea.
Many people believe that power is only about the size of an army or the number of ships at sea. In reality, true power also depends on how the world reacts and how costly it becomes to use force. This is where the Philippines has found a way to challenge a giant without matching its weapons. For China, the biggest worry is not a naval battle, but the idea that every aggressive action could turn into a loss of trust across the world. Images of Coast Guard vessels blocking Filipino boats do more than cause tension at sea.
Right, newly released footage shows a Chinese Coast Guard vessel crashing into one of its own warships. It was chasing vessels from the Philippines.
They spread across international media and build sympathy for Manila. Each photo and each headline reminds the global community that a much larger country is pressuring a smaller neighbor. This is why the Philippines matters. It is not only about defending its waters. It is about showing the world that even small nations can set limits on how far a giant can push. That is the kind of power that cannot be counted in ships or soldiers, yet it weighs heavily in the balance of international relations. In this video, we will explore why China is quietly unsettled by the Philippines. We will look at the legal battles, the role of alliances, the advantage of geography, and the growing importance of international support. By the end, you will see why a nation that appears small on the map holds a strength that even the largest power in Asia cannot dismiss. If you want more stories that uncover hidden strengths and explain global power struggles in clear and simple words, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next deep dive. China is often described as the giant of Asia, with one of the largest navies on the planet, a booming economy, and an active presence in global affairs. It appears to stand unchallenged. At first glance, no one would expect a much smaller neighbor to create any real difficulty for such a powerful state. Yet the Philippines has become a source of unease for Beijing in ways that go far beyond numbers. The reason is not about matching warships or aircraft. What makes the Philippines a challenge is its ability to turn weakness into strength. Instead of relying only on military size, it has used international law, global attention, and its unique location to balance against a much bigger power. This has forced China to deal with obstacles it cannot easily sweep aside. The Philippines has also gained confidence from moments that proved even a smaller nation can stand its ground. Each time Manila asserts its rights in the South China Sea, it reminds the world that the giant does not always get its way. This steady pressure is not loud, but it is effective, and it shows that strength is not measured only by weapons. When people look at the rise of China, they often focus on the size of its military or the reach of its economy. Numbers can be impressive. Fleets of modern warships, advanced missiles, and endless troops paint the picture of overwhelming power. But true strength in the modern world is not measured only in weapons. The Philippines has shown that influence can be earned in other ways that China finds difficult to counter. Manila understands that global opinion is a powerful shield. By drawing attention to disputes in the South China Sea, it has turned the eyes of the world onto Beijing's actions. This limits what China can do without risking damage to its international image. It is no longer just about what happens at sea. It is also about how nations respond to what they see. The Philippines has also tapped into diplomacy as a force multiplier. Stronger nations like the United States, Japan, and Australia take notice when Manila speaks up. These relationships make it harder for China to use raw force because every step is now watched closely. Firepower may win battles, but unity and law create lasting barriers. In 2016, the world watched as an international tribunal in The Hague made a historic decision. The court ruled that China's sweeping claims over nearly the entire South China Sea had no legal basis.
An international tribunal has sided with the Philippines, overruling China's claims in the South China Sea. The Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague has no power of enforcement, and Beijing is expected to ignore the ruling.
This ruling was a turning point because it showed that even a smaller country like the Philippines could challenge a major power through the rule of law and win. For Beijing, the judgment was a heavy blow to its narrative of control. Suddenly, its maps and claims carried no weight in international law. For Manila, it was more than just a legal victory. It was a signal that the Philippines was not alone. The ruling confirmed its rights in the sea and gave it stronger ground to stand on when facing pressure. Even though China rejected the decision, the impact continues to echo. Other countries now have a clear reference point when dealing with Beijing. The Philippines also gained a powerful tool. Whenever disputes rise, it can point back to the ruling and remind the world that the law is on its side. This makes every action by China harder to justify in the eyes of the global community. If rulings like this can shift the balance of power without a single shot being fired, how might the future of global conflicts change? Do you think legal battles will replace traditional wars? I will be waiting to hear your thoughts in the comments. After the ruling in 2016, China did not simply back down. Instead, it began using what many experts call gray zone tactics. These are actions that stop short of open war but still put constant pressure on the Philippines. Fishing vessels backed by militias began to appear in disputed waters. Large Coast Guard ships shadowed smaller Filipino boats. Artificial islands with runways and bases slowly rose from the sea. This strategy creates tension without crossing the line into full conflict. For the Philippines, it means facing an opponent that mixes military strength with civilian fronts, making it harder to respond. Yet even in this gray zone, Manila has found ways to push back. By documenting every incident and bringing it to global attention, the Philippines ensures that these actions do not go unnoticed. The strength of this approach is subtle but powerful. Each report to allies, each satellite image, and each diplomatic protest adds to a growing record of China's behavior. Over time, this damages Beijing's image and strengthens Manila's position as the victim standing firm under pressure. It is a reminder that even in the shadows, visibility can be a weapon. Geography has always shaped history, and in the case of the Philippines, it acts like a silent shield. Sitting right on the edge of the South China Sea, the country controls vital sea lanes where some of the world's busiest trade routes pass. This position makes it impossible for China to ignore, and at the same time, it gives Manila leverage that no amount of warships can erase. For China, these islands are an obstacle to full control of the sea. For the Philippines, they are a natural advantage. Narrow straits and scattered islands make it difficult for any foreign navy to dominate without being constantly visible. Every move can be tracked. Every ship can be spotted. Geography becomes a form of defense that requires no weapons at all. This location also attracts global interest. Nations that depend on safe trade routes want the Philippines to stand strong because their own security depends on it. That reality adds another layer of protection, because Manila is not only defending itself, it is guarding pathways that connect the world economy. If you are Filipino, this is a moment of pride. Your homeland's place on the map gives it strength that even giants must respect. If that makes you proud of your country, take a second to like this video while we continue exploring why this matters so much. The Philippines does not stand alone. Over the years, it has built stronger ties with countries that have both the interest and the ability to support it. The United States is the most visible partner with a defense treaty that promises help if Filipino forces are attacked. Joint military exercises and regular patrols in the South China Sea show that this is not just talk, but a living commitment. Japan has also stepped in by providing Coast Guard vessels and training to improve maritime defense. Australia has deepened cooperation as well by sending ships and joining exercises. Even countries in Europe have shown interest by sending warships through the disputed waters, as a message that freedom of navigation matters to all. Each of these connections raises the stakes for China. Any move against the Philippines risks drawing in far stronger powers. This creates a web of deterrence where the cost of aggression grows higher with every alliance. For Manila, it means that its voice is louder when backed by friends who value stability in the region. For many years, the Philippines had one of the weakest armed forces in Asia. Its navy relied on aging ships, and its air force had no fighter jets at all. But in recent years, a quiet transformation has begun. Manila has started modernizing its military step by step, investing in new ships, aircraft, and missile systems that give it a stronger ability to defend its territory. With support from allies, the Philippines has acquired modern frigate patrol vessels and Coast Guard cutters. Fighter jets like the FA-50 have returned to the skies after decades without this capability. Radar systems and coastal defenses are being installed to watch over the waters more closely. Each new piece of equipment may not match the scale of China's arsenal, but together they build a credible shield. This effort shows that Manila is no longer content to rely only on allies. It wants its own tools to protect its sovereignty and to prove that it is ready to take responsibility for its defense. The upgrades may take years to complete, but the direction is clear. A stronger and more confident Philippines is rising. Beyond military upgrades, another force works quietly in favor of the Philippines. That force is global opinion. When the world sees a smaller country standing up to a much larger power, sympathy often follows. In the case of the South China Sea, many nations view Manila as the rightful defender of international law, while China is seen as ignoring rules that everyone else depends on. This perception matters more than it may seem. Each time the Philippines brings its case to the global stage, it adds weight to its position. Reports from respected media outlets, statements from leaders, and resolutions from international organizations all add layers of support. For China, this creates an invisible pressure because every action it takes is judged not just by its neighbors, but by audiences worldwide. Global opinion also encourages cooperation. Countries that value stability in Asia prefer to stand with a nation that is seen as lawful and fair. This increases Manila's credibility and makes its alliances stronger. In this way, reputation becomes a kind of weapon that cannot be sunk or destroyed. Even with its vast navy and growing economy, China cannot rest easy when it looks at the Philippines. Every step forward by Manila makes the situation more complicated for Beijing. The 2016 ruling still stands as a legal reminder that the world does not accept China's sweeping claims.
Philippines strongly affirms its respect for this milestone decision as an important contribution to ongoing efforts in addressing disputes in the South China Sea.
Geography continues to act as a natural shield that no military power can erase. Alliances create risks that make any bold move far more costly. And global opinion keeps Beijing under constant watch. This combination of law, geography, diplomacy, and growing strength is what unsettles the giant. China may hold the advantage in numbers, but numbers alone do not guarantee control. The Philippines has proven that determination, strategy, and international support can balance against raw size. For Filipinos, this is both a challenge and a source of pride. It shows that even a smaller nation has the power to stand tall and be heard on the world stage. For China, it means that every decision in the South China Sea is filled with uncertainty. The giant may have strength, but it does not have peace of mind. From the beginning, we asked why a giant like China could still feel uneasy about the Philippines. Now we have seen the answer. It is not only about ships or weapons. It is about law, geography, alliances, reputation, and the determination of a people who refuse to be silent. These are the elements that make the Philippines more than just a small nation in Asia. They make it a country that even a giant must take seriously. If you found pride or strength in this video, let this be a reminder of what unity and resolve can achieve. I would love to know what you think about the Philippines' future role in Asia. Do you believe it will continue to grow stronger? Do you see other challenges ahead? Share your thoughts in the comments because your voice matters here. If this video gives you value, take a moment to press the like button so more people can discover it. Do not forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive. And if you think your friends or family would enjoy this video, share it with them so the conversation can grow. Together, we can keep exploring the truths that shape our world and uncover why even giants cannot always sleep easy.